And just a little bit of breaking news to pass along here. Prosecutors in New Hampshire have just filed a motion to compel Adam Montgomery to appear for sentencing after his murder conviction. And we all remember he decided not to attend his actual trial. They want him there for sentencing.
Yeah, you saw him there on the first day of jury selection during that trial, and then not again at all. He opted not to be transported there every day. And there's a law in New Hampshire that's on the books that if the victim or the victim's family members are giving impact statements at that sentencing, then the defendant has to be there in person to hear it. But it's a law that's rarely tested.
Yeah, last week apparently a House committee unanimously endorsed legislation to require that Class A felony defendants have to appear at their trials unless a judge agrees that an absence is advisable for a good cause shown, meaning had that law been in place, Montgomery would have been there for the entire trial.
If it had been pushed, well. And right, apparently it's been on the book since 2016, but now we will see if it actually happens or makes a difference. Of course, you saw here on Court TV him being convicted absent in the death of his 5-year-old daughter, Harmony Montgomery. Let's bring in criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Marie Pereira, who has followed and analyzed this Montgomery case. Marie, I can guess your reaction to whether or not the prosecution should be able to compel Adam to be there, but what do you think as a former prosecutor that might look like if he is refusing, but he is then compelled, forced by the prosecution, by the jail to be there?
It's going to look like the prosecutors are advocating still for the victim even after the conviction, because just the fact that he didn't show up for the trial is disrespectful to the victim. And now he's been convicted and he doesn't want to come and face the music and hear the impact his actions had on everyone he left behind. I think he should be compelled to come, and I think he should be packed up, chained, and brought there if necessary. Because he's not going to cooperate. He's probably going to fake sickness. He's probably going to be combative. They need to do whatever it is they need to do to subdue him, to bring him to court. That's the very least they can do right now.
He was serving prison time for the weapons conviction. As unique, normally a prisoner is transferred to the local jail pending trial, and then the transfer every day is just a quick bring them on over to the courthouse kind of thing. This was unique in New Hampshire because the prison is close enough to the courthouse that they just did a daily back and forth to prison.
He did not want that strip search every day, is the report that we got.
Right, which makes sense.
Nothing to do.
Well, it makes sense.
It wasn't nothing to do with a strip search.
Oh, I think it had a lot to do with the clamoring and the attention that he was getting at the prison every day, getting up, leaving, coming back. Oh, what's he in for again? Killing a 5-year-old? That does not fly in a prison atmosphere. And I do believe a lot of it was like he didn't want the attention on him because of the transport.
And he knew he was lying. And he just didn't want to face the people that he hurt. He knew what he did, and he knew his defense wasn't going to fly. It had nothing to do with strip search. He just did not want to be accountable for what he did. He was defiant, he was in denial, and he was disrespectful. Now, with this law, they need to bring him in chains, dragging, screaming, if necessary. He has to face the music. That little girl, she at least deserved that.
And I've seen that happen where a defendant had to be brought in on a stretcher, would not relax their body, but they were brought in to make sure that they stood
the old Hannibal Lecter muzzle.
Everything. It is possible what the courts have at their disposal.
Yeah, and it sounds like they are bound and determined to get him in court. In fact, the prosecutor, after the conviction, said, yeah, he's going to be here for the sentencing, and that's where it looks like it's going.